Okay, for real this time. Like, what in the world? Okay. Hey, YouTube, it's Cutt here. We're bringing you another one. We had a little false start there because I had changed up my whole situation, so my sound wasn't working. But we back, and that's all right. We're here now. So, I saw Transformers, and let me just let you know right now. Let me just double check, because, you know, people like play games out here. Okay, we're all good. So, I'm not a fan of Transformers. Never been a fan. I watched the cartoons back in the day with my dad, and then the movies started coming out, and I did see a few of them, but just never was just like a fan. But I am now a fan. Well, I don't know if I'm a fan for all of them. Like, I don't know if I'm going back. Nah. But going forward, I will definitely be watching this. Like, that's not even a question. Don't worry. This is a non-spoiler review. So we are not going to spoil anything and make sure everything stays, you know, pretty neutral here so that it gives you the surprise and the juices that you need to be excited for the film. Okay? But before we get started, if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. Okay? So, and you see I got my little list over here. You see I got my little list. All right? So let's turn it on. So, great movie. I loved it. I kind of was excited the fact that I had to go in. I kind of went in a little blind, not super blind like some of the movies that are coming out next week that are like truly new. But I just feel like lately, like ever since I got my A-list pass for AMC, it's been movies that I already have a little bit of understanding of, like Little Mermaid. You already know the story. Miles Morales already had a first one. So this is like peeking into my first, like, not knowing much, but still not 100%. Okay. So what is the vibes? Don't kill me on this one. Okay. Don't kill me on the vibes. So it's really giving a little bit of Spider-Verse, actually, shockingly. A little bit of Kazam. Now, I know, do not try me, but it was giving a little Kazam. I don't know what it is about it. It just, there was some energy of Kazam back in the day. And I almost didn't want to put this picture because I've been wanting to draw him for a while. And I don't even want to put it in the atmosphere until I'm ready to draw it. But I just couldn't not put it. And then night at the museum for some reason. I think there's just a section in like a artifacts type of place. And it just is giving that feeling. So, and when I do this vibe thing, don't think I'm like decrediting the movie because I'm comparing it to another movie. It's just, you know, you watch a movie, you feel like you've seen it before, you felt it before, and that's not a bad thing. It's just the nature of seeing a lot of movies. And these are the movies that it reminds me of feeling wise, not the story, just the feeling that, the way it looks, the way it, you know, also, this movie does take place in the 90s, actually in 1994. So it kind of would make sense that it would remind me of something like Kazam, because I think Kazam came out in the 90s. So it kind of makes sense. Okay. So should you go to the theaters? I did see this in IMAX. Yes. Okay. Yes. But I think you can watch this on a big screen in your house and then think it'll be okay. I was actually talking to my grandma because she's also a movie lover. And she was worried that she actually likes the Transformers. In the previous movies, every time they transform, the camera's like right up close on them. And even though, yeah, it looks cool, you're not really being able to really see the whole action happening. So when I was talking to her before I saw the movie, I was like, oh, let me look out for that and see if that's a thing that they're, are doing. And they did do that a few times, but I think now because technology is so amazing, there was a lot of times where you do see them transform like full body from a distance. So it was kind of cool to get a little mix of both. So to see that on the IMAX big screen, yeah, why not? Why not? Also, while we're here, the reason why I bring this up is because the other cool thing about going to the theater, especially now I've been doing these early accesses, they be giving out gifts and stuff. So I showed you guys the poster that I got from Spider-Man, and then this time they had another poster. So this is what had happened, right? So I get there. He was like, okay, you get to, because you're buying a ticket for the early access, because I went yesterday. He's like, all right, you get to choose between this poster or this little collectible thing. So I saw a collectible and I'm like, okay, it's a patch. That's kind of cool, but I'm probably not going to use any of the stuff. I'm just going to start holding on to it. But I was like, no, let me get the poster. But then after I got my my icy, I was like, maybe I do want the patch. And then I was like, let me go back. I was like, well, you know what? Let me take a picture of it before I, so that's hence this picture. It's not as big. It probably seems big. It's actually about this big. It's not as big as the Spider-Man one. It's a cool poster. I actually like it better than the Spider-Man one. But you'll never see me put a poster up when I got all the... Oh, don't mind SpongeBob in the back. I'm working on a rug. Yes, so you get some really cool stuff if you do early access. So that's the good thing about going to the theaters, I'm coming to realize. Okay, so do you need to watch the previous movies? I don't really know because I don't know the story. I don't really know what's happening. I don't really know who... I mean, I know Optimus Prime and I know some of these characters. I did have the toys of, not Optimus Prime, but of the Beast. But I don't even know why. I think we just all got them. So I don't know if you need to watch it or not. But from what I read about, you don't need to watch any other movie to enjoy this one because it's technically before a lot of the other things because it happens in the 90s, this movie. So it's not a prequel, but it happens before other things. But I don't know. I'm sure the people who know this franchise better than me is going to be like, you don't know what you're talking about. You have to watch blah, 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 blah. I don't know. But I enjoyed it without knowing anything about the franchise itself. Okay? Now, the director is Steve. Now, y'all know how I am with names now. These names are a little bit easier, but I still, Anyway, Stephen Capel Jr., who actually was the director for Creed 2. Another movie I didn't see. Although I was very close to seeing Creed 3 because I did hear Creed 3 was really good. But I didn't see any of the Creeds. Not really into like boxing, fighting movies like that. Although, I mean, everyone likes Rocky, right? So, I don't know. But anyway, from what I heard, he did an okay job with 2. But hey, he did a really, really good job. And once I knew who the director was, the energy of the movie made a lot more sense. We'll talk about that a little bit later with music, but now it adds up a little bit more. Okay, let's talk about the cast. Okay, so this time I did it a little different. Before I kind of went through everybody, but y'all know I don't know names like that, and I don't really be knowing people like that for real. Like, don't get it twisted. I don't know these people. So I'm like, instead of going that route, I'm just going to kind of pick my favorite characters and my least favorite characters, which means I might not talk about all of them. My favorite, and this is not in order. Next time I'll make sure it's in order. Oh, there's the Creed image. Well, here you go. Okay. Now, so Noah, played by Anthony Ramos, he's on Hamilton. I mean, he really did a really good... He embodied the character so well. Like, you really believe he's just regular Latin New Yorker caught up in this situation. Okay, caught up in this situation. And his raw and roughness was so refreshing to watch. I think that's why I think about Spider-Verse with Miles Morales, because Miles Morales is very refreshing to watch because he's not polished. He's very human. And that's what you feel with this character. And I really like him. But one of my favorite characters, is this my top favorite? Think. I think this might be my top favorite, is the girl, Elena, played by Dominique Fishback. I never heard of her before. I never seen anything she's in. I should have looked it up what other things she's in. But I've never seen her face before. But she also played really good as this black woman, a little bit underappreciated, super brilliant, very smart, but not recognized type of character. Really, really good. She did a really good job. There was a lot of funny moments with her that I really liked. I hope this will take her to the next level with her acting career, her in more films, because she really did a phenomenal job. She might be my favorite character. And then, oh my gosh, this character. In the movie, it's Chris Diaz, and then his name is Dean Scott Vasquez. I hope I said that right now. Y'all know I can't. Y'all know I'm not good with names, and now we talk about Spanish names. Now we're really out of the park here, okay? But this little boy not only is super, super cute, but like also very rough, like also very New York, okay? And you will fall in love with him. Like, not me tearing up, now y'all know I'm a crier, but I didn't imagine having any tears in my eyes for this movie, because I'm like, not the robots, not y'all having me cry over fake not human, not alive animals and robots and little people. But yeah, there was some liquid. I try not to let it get all the way out, but I did get a little liquid for this movie, which was very nice. And then let's talk about some of the animated characters that I liked a lot. So I think I'm saying it. RC. That's not RC. Merge, which I did not know that was Pete Davidson. And now it makes sense because there's some lines where I'm like, okay now. But this was an awesome character, super funny, super like the comedy of the movie. So good. You really relate to him too. The way they designed him, the animations and just the movement, so cool. Okay, so cool. Then the last of the characters that I really liked is it Air Raider? By Michelle Yee. Y'all know I'm not good with names, okay? First of all, I'm so proud of her. Like, she's really taken off in her career. First of all, even when you look at some of her older films, you're like, wow, she's been around for a long time. But it's just exciting to see her really flourish at this time, getting all these awesome roles. And she plays this amazingly designed bird character, Transformer. And, it was just, you really believe this character through her voice, and I'm just like wowed by her. The characters I didn't like the most was RC, that's what it is, RC. And I did not know this was Liza Koshy, who I love, but I just didn't care for the character. So this is definitely not anything towards Liza, but the character just, I don't know. It was like it wanted to be girl power, but it wasn't really giving girl power. Like, I feel like definitely Elena was given the girl power, and what is it, Artur, whatever the bird name is, she was given girl power, even though she was a bird, but it was a woman character. But I just feel like RC was trying to give girl power, and it just wasn't going all the way over. She just felt like a secondhand character, and maybe she kind of is. I don't know these people. So to find out it was Liza, I was like, dang, this wasn't the one for her. Okay, don't hurt me on this one, but actually Optimus Prime, done by Peter Cullen, and then Optimus Primal, done by Ron Perlman. Although they were designed well, although the fighting scenes were awesome with them, they were kind of like not my favorite characters, which is hard to say for the lead. These are like two lead characters, leaders of their own group. But maybe because the other characters just shined a little bit more. Okay, now let's talk about the villains. There are two villains. So we have first Scourge, played by Peter Dinklage, which he's, as we all know, is a phenomenal actor. And I love that they are using his voice for such a powerful villain. And then you have, this is Omicron, I think that's right, played by Coleman Domingo. So, y'all know I like to give you guys the names of the title of a villain. So as I saw, there are 15 villain titles in films. So the first one, if we go back to Surge, he would be the henchman. So although he's the main villain that we see throughout, he's not the big guy. He's the one that's being sent to fix the problem. So although we see him, he's not the big guy, right? And then you have Unicron, which is the personification of evil. So from what I'm seeing, when I looked up the personification of evil, it named people like the Wicked Witch from The Wizard of Oz, and it named people like Darth Vader. And so I think what it is really in that world, there's a evil, and then it has to be personified in some way. So anything that's like that big of a problem is usually the personification of evil. So in The Wizard of Oz, the only problem is the Wicked Witch. Even though there's other bad characters, so she becomes a personification of what evil is. And it seems like most movies have that form of evil and of villain, but sometimes there's a henchman, or there's there's all different other ones. I have to get the list, but actually I've seen it here. There's the beast, or there's the bully, or the cop, the criminal. So there's different types of villains in film, and they serve different purposes. And this one has two, so that was pretty cool to see. Now, what is the message of this movie? Oh, wait a minute. Oh, I don't have my message image. Okay. The message, in my opinion, here is home is where your family is. So without giving like any like thing away, basically the overall message of this is like, although like everyone has a home, and sometimes those homes can contradict other people's homes, but you kind of have to find home where your family is, where your love is. Love is really the answer, but I think for this particular story, it's more about family. It really was when it said vibes, I was almost going to put Fast and Furious. Because I was going to be like, family. But I didn't do that. But I think that's the overall message. Now, I added this section here, which is what could be better, because I found myself to be super positive Patty. And which is no problem. But, we have to see where can a movie improve or what could have been better. The only thing I didn't really like was it was a little cheesy. That's what this image is for. It was a little cheesy. Oh, no, let me rewind. Cheesy lines. There were certain lines where I was like, okay. But that was kind of how it was in the animation. So, I mean, I guess they stayed true to the character. And it was mostly Optimus Prime who was giving me the cheesy lines. But he's very cheesy anyway. So I guess they were like holding on to like the way he speaks and the way he is. So I get it. But that just always threw me out where I'm like, come on now. Nobody says that. But I guess he says that. So anyway. And then, where are we at? So we did the math. Okay. So now cinematography. There's some moments where you're like, wow, that's how you set it up. That's how you set up the light. That's how you set up. There was never really any moment, we'll talk about this with the animation, which is next. There was never really any moment where I felt removed from the movie. Because anytime, that's what it was. Doctor Strange 2 had moments where you felt removed. Because there was some cool graphics and stuff, but there was moments where you were removed from the movie. You're like, what in the... Like, why does it look like that? Or why did y'all do that? Then you just get pulled out. I didn't really have that too much, at least with the cinematography. I did have with the cheesy lines where I was like, all right now. But with the cinematography, definitely really, really good. Now let's talk about the animation and the CGI. Like I just said, it looked really good. Anytime the humans interacted with the robots, it looked really good. The transformations, ridiculous. Especially anytime it went from car to human or humanoid or anything like that, that was just like, yes, absolutely. So, let's talk about the music. This is why I like this movie. The music is what made me like this movie. So, I wanted to add him into one of my favorite characters, but because which I didn't know, he did one of the songs for the film. I was like, all right, I'll just talk about him in the music section. So he did this song called On My Soul. I just watched the music video before this. It was pretty good. The song is okay. I don't really care for the song too much. But I respect this man as not only actor now, but as a rapper. And his name is, I got it written down now. So he played Reek in the movie. But his name is Toby, Nwengi? No. I'm really butchering right now. Okay, anyway, Toby, and he played Reek. Such a funny character, very natural. Didn't feel like he was acting. Like I need to see more roles with this man. Really, really good. But back to the music, the soundtrack, because it was 1994, it was giving. And it was very black forward, a lot of the music. So it was very like the whole movie has some music vibe. Music wise, and then that brings me to the sound design. So very good. Like very good. Anytime you can, especially with this type of, I feel like, really, to be honest, I feel like Transformers really change, because now that I think about some of the older movies I did see of the Transformers, like that, the sound design of these robots being transformed, we never really see anything like that or heard anything like that. So they have to be so outside of the box to create these original sounds for this, you know, this character transforming from a car to, you know, a humanoid type of figure. I find it to be super amazing, and I think they did a phenomenal job in this movie as well. Okay, now so we just did sound design, so now let's go on to world design. Nothing's really exciting really going on with the worlds that they were in. There is an opening scene that I'm not going to spoil. I'm just going to tell you, if that opening scene wasn't in the movie, I think I would have felt, it would have took me a little bit longer to enjoy the movie, because that opening scene was punching you in the face with graphics, and it was so cool fighting scene, and you're like, what is going on? I think that held you all the way to when it gets more exciting again. And that world is nice, but there's nothing special much about that world. New York, it was interesting to see New York in the 1990s, because there's certain buildings that are no longer there that was there. And that was a little pulled back because we haven't seen it like that in so long. So that was a little interesting to see those buildings still, you know, standing. But other than that, nothing really special. And then there's a section where they go to Maya, and I think I'm saying that right. It was also there was some culturally beautiful scenes, but it just wasn't nothing special when it comes to world design in this movie. Same thing with costume design. They just kind of had besides the robots, they just kind of, everybody had kind of regular clothes on. Nothing was really too special in that department. I don't predict them winning any awards for that, but they might win some awards for their special effects. Okay, so is there an end credit scene? Yes, there's only one end credit scene. You don't have to wait long. It's not all the way at the end of the credits. It's before the credits fully end. I'm not gonna give it away, but even this got me excited. And like I said, I'm not into Transformers, but then it was like, I didn't realize these things were connected in any way, shape, or form. I'm not going to say what it is, but it was like, oh yeah, I'm looking forward to the next movie. So let's talk about that. So is there a second movie? So from what I'm seeing, like I said, from what I looked into, this is a standalone movie, so it would be a second movie that comes after this. But I don't know what they're planning, but from the energy of the end credit, I think there will be a second movie, and I will go see it happily this time. Okay. So that was the second movie image. Okay. So conclusion. Yeah, go see it. Definitely really good. I think even if you're not a Transformers fan, but you just like really cool techie type of movies, adventure, it's a very adventure forward movie. There's really cool fighting scenes, and it was never slow. The moment I thought it was going to be slow, the soundtrack came in. You know what I mean? Like the moments where it's like it's going to be slow right now, and it makes sense that it would be. And then the music, and you're like, okay, give it to me. You know, so it's a really very exciting, fast moving movie, and I really quite enjoyed that. Yes. So next week is going to be a busy week. I have to go see 3 movies next week. I'm going to see The Flash, I'm going to see Elementals, and I'm going to see The Blackening. However, I'm probably not going to do the review of The Blackening until Juneteenth. However, I am going to do the review of Flash next week, and I'm going to do the review of Elementals next week. So stay tuned. It's going to be a busy week. I know you haven't seen them yet, but coming soon are going to be tutorials. Coming soon is going to be a bunch of digital packs on my Etsy. So if you want to kind of get a little bit of a head start on that, why don't you go ahead and join my Patreon down below. Link is in the description down below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to like, subscribe, push that notification button because we're going to keep bringing this stuff to you. That's all I got. That was a long one. What are you doing? I know you're not about to leave. It's mad buttons down there. You ain't pushed on one of them. You better subscribe to my channel. See you soon.